Microsoft's $69 billion deal to acquire Activision Blizzard has been blocked by the UK's Competition and Markets Authority, or the CMA. And after months of analyzing 3 million Microsoft and Activision Blizzard documents, more than 2,100 emails from the public, the CMA has concluded that the deal could alter the future of fast-growing cloud gaming market, leading to reduced innovation and less choice for UK gamers over the years to come. But this deal being blocked is bad for gamers around the world, and surprisingly, this is bad for PlayStation as well. Xbox has been blocked. The merger is blocked from the CMA, and now there is a very lengthy appeal process, and the waiting continues. If you end up enjoying this video, let me know by liking and subscribing to the channel. Hit the bell to be notified of new content. And let's talk about where Xbox sits and how PlayStation stands to lose, and Xbox fans have even longer to wait. The report came in April 26 from Tom Warren of The Verge, who says that Microsoft will appeal the decision, but it's blow to the hopes of acquiring Activision Blizzard, and it will likely prevent the company from any other giant deal if an appeal is unsuccessful. But it also dashes the hopes of Microsoft or Xbox acquiring any small publisher, any studio, or let alone any alternative large publisher or large studio. As it looks right now, regulators following suit with the CMA in the UK would stop Xbox and Microsoft from growing outside of Xbox Game Studios and the newly formed Bethesda ZeniMax on the team, on the precipice that Microsoft's massive cloud gaming infrastructure with Azure would stop any competition around the world for other companies that have not been forward-thinking with online gaming in the cloud enterprise. The CMA has outright denied this merger for Activision and Blizzard with Xbox, saying, quote, Microsoft has a strong position in cloud gaming services, and the evidence available to the CMA show that Microsoft would find it commercially beneficial to make Activision's games exclusive to its own cloud gaming service, close quote, says the CMA. Strange, this is their leading statement, knowing full well that Xbox and Microsoft have promised to keep Activision and Blizzard games fully available to all platforms that can play on cloud gaming services, even partnering with other competitors in the cloud gaming service. Stop right here. Xbox has said that cloud games are not exclusive to the cloud gaming service. They are not exclusive to Xbox Game Pass. They are available to play on any devices that are supported in the Xbox ecosystem. But the CMA, as Tom Warren explains for the Verge article, that Microsoft controls around 60 to 70% of global cloud gaming services, and that adding control over Call of Duty, Overwatch, and World of Warcraft would give Microsoft a significant advantage in the cloud gaming market. Microsoft has attempted to address concerns around cloud gaming in the lead up to this decision. The software giant signed cloud gaming deals with Boosteroid, Ubisoft, and Nvidia to allow Xbox PC games to run on these rival cloud gaming services after striking a similar deal with Nintendo in December, and of course, attempting to make this deal with PlayStation, which PlayStation never signed. These 10-year deals also include access to Call of Duty and other Activision Blizzard games if the deal is approved by regulators. But remember, they are not exclusive to the cloud gaming market. They are only available accompanying the PC and the console versions of the game. The CMA says that it has examined these deals, that they contain a, quote, a number of significant shortcomings in cloud gaming services, and they are too limited in scope, with models that meant gamers had to acquire the right to play these games. That is, by purchasing them on certain stores or subscribing to certain services. Yes, CMA, yes, you have to buy the games or be subscribed to have access to them. As you know, nothing is for free. You're talking about free market capitalism, where if you provide goods or services, you have to charge for them, and people buy them so they can enjoy them. That's consumerism, CMA. The CMA complains that Microsoft providing access to these games in a rival multi-game subscription service, or the ability for rivals to offer versions of their games on PC operating systems outside of Windows. And yes, you can play Xbox exclusives on Linux. The CMA also noted that the deals would, quote, standardize the terms and conditions on which games are available. Instead of the open competition in the cloud gaming market, they said, we concluded that without the merger, Activision games would become available on cloud gaming services in the UK in the near future, close quote. The CMA initially sided with Microsoft over Call of Duty on PlayStation concerns last month, noting that it would be costly for Microsoft to withhold the popular franchise like Call of Duty from the PlayStation, and left some cloud gaming concerns on the table. In other words, as Tom Horn is explaining here in his article, PlayStation was concerned about losing access to Call of Duty, and Xbox said they would provide that for at least 10 years. Once all concerns were dissolved away, that Xbox wouldn't make Activision Blizzard games exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem, there was nothing left that the CMA and other regulators could do to say that they were harming competition for just the platform PlayStation. The CMA said, quote, Microsoft engaged constructively with us to try and address these issues, and we are grateful for that, but their proposals were not effective to remedy our concerns, and would have replaced competition with ineffective regulation in a new and dynamic market. Close quote. In other words, the CMA still does not understand, after reading over 2,000 pages of documents, that cloud gaming is simply on-demand games streamed from the internet, just like watching a show or movie you paid for on Netflix. Now, keep in mind that absolutely none of the games for Xbox are locked behind cloud gaming services or exclusive to xCloud or Xbox Cloud Gaming. All of the games included in Xbox exclusives are available on this shown family of devices as long as you have purchased them within the Xbox ecosystem or have access to them with a paid subscription in the Xbox ecosystem. Like I said, nothing is free, and this is just the market standard. A near $70 billion merger has been put on the wayside and blocked for a further appeal simply because the CMA regulators in the UK do not understand how cloud gaming works in the gaming market. The Activision CEO said, quote, we're confident in our case because the facts are on our side. This deal is good for competition. After this announcement broke, the Activision Blizzard stock took a huge hit. In a media statement, Activision took a harsher tone toward the UK, saying the CMA's report contradicts the ambition of the UK to become an attractive country to build technology businesses. We will work aggressively with Microsoft to reverse this on appeal. The report's conclusions are a disservice to UK citizens who face increasingly dire economic prospects. We will reassess our growth plans for the UK. Global innovators, large and small, will take note that, despite all its rhetoric, the UK is clearly closed for business. Close quote. What seems to be a win for the CMA and regulators fighting against big tech has actually turned into a massive loss for a company like Activision and Blizzard that came to Microsoft and Xbox for a merger and a buyout in their own dire need. In fact, the approval of this deal for Activision and Blizzard to become part of Xbox is not just good for Xbox, Microsoft, cloud gaming, Game Pass, and the Xbox platform as a whole, but it is actually very bad for PlayStation if it doesn't pass. Microsoft's appeal will push back the company's plans to try and get this deal over the line by the end of July 2023. Microsoft had originally planned to close this deal by July, and now it is forced to negotiate an extension to the merger agreement. And if the Microsoft appeal fails, or it fails to get approval from other regulators, Microsoft will owe Activision $3 billion in breakup fees. Brad Smith, the vice chair and president of Microsoft, said, "We remain fully committed to this acquisition and will appeal. The CMA's decision rejects a pragmatic path to address competition concerns and discourages technology innovation and investments in the United Kingdom. We have already signed contracts to make Activision Blizzard's popular games available on 150 million more devices, and we remain committed to reinforcing these agreements through regulatory remedies. We're especially disappointed that after lengthy deliberations, this decision appears to reflect a flawed understanding of this market and the way the relevant cloud technology actually works." Close quote. Regulators around the world have already approved this deal, and no one saw the cloud monopoly angle being used to block it, and Microsoft was very certain that the CMA would approve this deal and move on to the European Commission. The lesson learned here is that government and the regulators are trying to stop big tech from overpowering the government decision-making and their massive power play for a market and technology base that government employees do not even seem to have a cursory understanding. It is really as simple as understanding that cloud gaming is on-demand access to games on multiple devices for everyone around the world, and the technology has been forward-led by Microsoft and other big companies that have been getting into cloud gaming, sans PlayStation. The decision is no longer about protecting PlayStation, and the blame can't be put squarely on PlayStation except for their egregious interference in the deal. And as all logical and reasonable information has made it impossible for the regulators to continue to protect Sony's market position, the future is on demand, the a la carte subscription-based gaming coinciding with traditional pay-as-you-go or purchasable games. The concept of having your games up in the sky seems to be far too advanced for regulators who grew up in a world where you turned on your radio when you wanted to listen to music. And that is pretty ironic. So what is the future of Xbox and further acquisitions and growth for Game Pass? Quite grim, actually, as the game plan for Phil Spencer and Satya Nadella was to grow the Xbox platform with an approach that provided as many great games as possible to Game Pass subscribers and allowed them to also buy those games on their ecosystem to expand beyond the console and even beyond the PC to other devices where billions will be playing. We are entering into a new era of hardware for gamers that will be playing on very powerful handheld devices of their choosing, and the prospect of having a Game Pass monthly subscription service and hundreds of games to choose from each month is still a big part of Xbox's game plan. PlayStation is solely responsible for the future that their fans will endure alongside the exclusivity that Xbox fans will start to enjoy. Hear me out. Xbox will not be allowed to buy big publishers or big studios, but instead, they will aggressively be seeking out exclusivity deals with existing studios they don't own. This means bringing big AAA games from studios and publishers that are not owned by Xbox into Game Pass day and date or outright exclusive to Xbox, as PlayStation has been doing with games like Final Fantasy. If Xbox is not allowed to buy big publishers and bolster up their library with big games, they will be aggressively buying games and keeping them from the PlayStation. Unfortunately, for all the work that PlayStation has done to try and stop or block the deal or ruin it for Xbox, this will actually result in PlayStation missing out on more big games instead of taking the deal to keep Activision and Blizzard games on PlayStation for the next 10 years. As an Xbox fan, you should be very disappointed, as this has caused the Xbox platform to sit and hunker down for nearly 2 years, which they will continue to do, while this process goes through and ultimately ends in too much damage that has already been done. The prospect of Xbox fans enjoying big studios coming into the fold like Capcom or Sega has all but been dissolved. Xbox still has a suite of 30 studios with Bethesda and ZeniMax folded in, and now Xbox has to show their fans and the world that even without Activision Blizzard merger, they are going all in for gaming, and that fans can expect a ton of games to come out, regardless of this legal outcome. This is Colteastwood. Thank you so much for checking out this video. When I woke up and saw this news, the last thing I wanted to do was to sit down and make a video. Where's Xbox going to go? What does this mean for fans? Is the deal over? Is Xbox going to die? Because they really have sat down and played nice far too long. If you ended up liking this video anyway with all the bad news, let me know by liking and subscribing to the channel. Hit the bell to be notified of new weekly content. If you want to further support the work we do here every week on the Colteastwood channel, you can do that by hitting the channel membership join button below. Or you could join the Patreon, and Patrons get access to the XNC Podcast Party Club on Xbox, get you entered into monthly merch giveaways like this shirt here that shows, shows the studios that are making games, and yeah, a lot of good stuff. Also, please check out the XNC Podcast that runs every week. We're coming up on episode 100, and the show's been doing great. I've been having a great time with Middle-Aged Game Guy and having people from the community on, and lots more to come. But I want to know what you think about this CMA decision. I mean, you got a bunch of old government employees, and believe me, I know. They have no idea about this new magical cloud gaming service, and wow, we're gonna suffer for their incompetence. I hate to say it. It sounds pretty rude, but you know, as I always say, be nice.